next, it's BGSU's Brain Game. It is Danbury versus Hilltop. I have a feeling this could be a cosmic cranial collision. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it going to be? Only one way to find out. BGSU's Brain Game starts right now. And welcome to BGSU Brain Game. We have Danbury versus Hilltop. Let's meet our team. Starting off with Hilltop. Tell us who you are.
My name's Brianna and I'm a junior. To my left is Joe and he's a sophomore. To my right is Lily and she's also a junior, and we are coached by Abby Smith.
All right, welcome to Hilltop. Danbury, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'm a senior. To my left is Maddie. She is a junior. And to my right is John, who is also a junior. Our coach is Candy Hurt, and the other one is Kim Bassetti.
All right, well, welcome to both Danbury and Hilltop as we move into our toss-up round. All questions in this round are worth 10 points. No deduction for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, not after, and you can steal a question in this round. Hilltop, Danbury, are you ready? Toss-up round starts right now. This type of landform or hill rises abruptly from its surrounding area and has sloping sides and a flat top. Danbury, John.
A plateau.
Incorrect. Identify this formation whose name begins with the letter B. Hilltop. That would be Joe.
Bluff.
Incorrect. Butte is what we needed there. Which U.S. state is nicknamed Land of the Midnight Sun and is home to the cities of Sitka? That would be Hilltop. Joe.
Alaska.
Alaska, yes. Which L. Frank Baum book featured a boy named Tip, Jack Pumpkinhead, and Sawhorse? The Marvelous Land of Oz. In September 1976, NASA received its first photos taken from the surface of Mars. Which lander provided the images while collecting other scientific data? Hilltop, Joe.
A rover.
Incorrect. Danbury, would you like to steal? That would be John.
Curiosity.
Incorrect. We needed Viking 2 there. Viking 2. Who is the author of O Pioneers and My Antonia? Her childhood home at Red Cloud is a favorite destination of those visiting the state of Nebraska, and her initials are WC. Willa Cather is what we wanted there. Identify the novel by Carl Hiaasen in which a new kid, Roy, joins forces with tough Beatrice and Mullet Fingers to defeat a bully, thwart an avaricious corporation, and save a colony of burrowing owls. Hoot is what we wanted there. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates in 1858, Abraham Lincoln stated, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure half slave and half free." From which book did he borrow the words, "A house divided against itself cannot stand"? Hilltop, Joe.
The Bible.
Correct. Good job. Raphael, Leonardo, and Michelangelo were the three great creators of what artistic period? Hilltop, Brianna.
Renaissance?
Correct. The repeal of this act was accompanied by the passage of the Declaratory Act, and protesters against it burned Andrew Oliver in effigy on the Liberty Tree. Name this act. That would be Hilltop, Joe.
Stamp Act.
Correct.
Good job.
In Greek mythology, Daedalus designed this maze as a home for the Minotaur. Danbury, Nate.
The Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, yes. When Walt Whitman wrote his poem, "When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed," As a tribute to President Abraham Lincoln, what symbol does he use to represent Mr. Lincoln? Danbury. Nate.
Top hat.
Incorrect. Hilltop, would you like to steal? That would be Joe.
Captain.
Incorrect. A star. In 1889, this wealthy American businessman published the book entitled The Gospel of Wealth. End of round. Andrew Carnegie, by the way, was the answer to that question. Let's take a look at our score. We have Danbury with 10 points. Hilltop currently in the lead with 40 points. You're going to want to stick around. Our head-to-head round is coming up next. And welcome back to BGSU's Brain Game. It is Danbury with 10 points, Hilltop with 40 points. Looks like we have some new faces out here. Hilltop, who has joined your team?
This is Jamie, and she's a freshman.
All right, welcome to you. And Danbury, who are you and who's joined you?
I'm Ryan, I'm a senior, and this is Emma, she's a freshman.
All right, welcome to you all as we move to our head-to-head round. There are 15 questions in this round, 10 points apiece, no deduction for an incorrect answer. You can confer as long as you want on these. Here's the twist though. One team stays, the other one goes to isolation. Each team will have a shot at those 15 questions. At the end of this round, we're going to see where our score stands. All right, Hilltop, you are at 40 points, meaning you are going to be staying. Danbury, you're off to isolation. All right, Hilltop, are you ready for your 15 head-to-head questions?
Yes.
This round starts right now. In what country is Komodo National Park located?
Japan?
Indonesia, sorry. Which two states border Montana to the east?
Colorado and North Dakota.
North Dakota and South Dakota. What is the square root of 121?
11.
Correct. What is the largest game bird native to North America?
Turkey.
Correct. What two states border Colorado to the south?
Arizona and Texas.
New Mexico and Oklahoma. In what year was the U.S. Library of Congress established?
1861.
I need you to buzz in, please.
1861.
1800. This adjective, which begins with the letter G, means of or relating to the stomach.
Gastral?
Will we accept that? We will not. We needed specifically gastric. Greek legend says she was the mother of Achilles. Name her.
Andromeda.
Incorrect. Thetis. What do we call the common Egyptian amulets shaped like sacred beetles?
Pass.
Scarab. Simple interest is calculated by multiplying the principal by the rate and the what?
Time.
Correct. Cuba is the largest and westernmost island of the West Indies. In what year did Cuba become a communist nation?
1951.
Incorrect. 1959. In what constellation can you find the star known as Sirius?
Orion.
Incorrect. Canis Major. What is the capital of the Philippines?
Manila.
Correct. What two-word term is the name for the act of reading and playing an unfamiliar song in musical notation without any advanced preparation? Did they get in time? They did not. Sight reading is what we needed there. All right, Hilltop, that is the end of the head-to-head round for you. It's now time for you to head off to isolation. All right, now it's time to bring back Danbury. Welcome back to Danbury. Are you ready for your 15 questions head-to-head? All right, your round starts right now. In what country is Komodo National Park located?
Indonesia.
Correct. Which two states border Montana to the east?
North and South Dakota.
Correct. What is the square root of 121?
11.
Correct. What is the largest game bird native to North America?
Turkey.
Correct. Which two states border Colorado to the south?
Oklahoma and New Mexico.
Correct. In what year was the U.S. Library of Congress established?
1800.
Correct. This adjective, which begins with the letter G, means of or relating to the stomach.
Gastro.
Incorrect. We needed gastric there. Greek legend says she was the mother of Achilles. Name her.
Athena.
Incorrect. Thetis. What do we call the common Egyptian amulet shaped like sacred beetles?
Amethyst.
Incorrect. Scarab. Simple interest is calculated by multiplying the principal by the rate and the what?
Interest.
Time. Cuba is the largest and westernmost island of the West Indies. In what year did Cuba become a communist nation?
1960.
1959. In what constellation can you find the star known as Sirius?
Gemini.
Canis Major. What is the capital of the Philippines?
Manila.
Correct. What two-word term is the name for the act of reading and playing an unfamiliar song in musical notation without any advanced preparation?
Sight reading.
Correct. The side of a hammer is called a what?
Head.
Cheek is what we needed there. That is all 15 questions for you, and that ends your head-to-head round. That means it is now time to clear our scores, and let's bring back in Hilltop. Welcome back to Hilltop. It's now time to check our scores, and I have heard from our judge. We are going to accept both teams' answers for the gastric question, so our scores will reflect that. Let's take a look where we stand now. Hilltop is at 90 points. Danbury stands at 100 points. A very, very close game. You're going to want to stick around because things can happen really fast. Our category round is coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU's Brain Game. Danbury 100, Hilltop 90 points. We are having a cosmic cranial collision, just like we said. All right, we're moving to our category round, but it looks like we have some returning players and some new players. Hilltop, tell us about your lineup.
All right, this is Joe and this is Lily.
All right, and looks like Nate's back, and who else?
To my left is Ryan.
And John is still there. All right. Okay, we are moving to our category round. This is where the power shifts a little bit to our teams. They have the power to select which category they want and how many points they want to risk. 6 categories to choose from: 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. But like I said, deductions start now. You go for 20, you can lose 20. You may confer before buzzing in, not after. And you can steal a question in this round. Even though it's a close game, we have Hilltop at 90. That means you get to make the first selection.
Famous scientists for 20.
Famous scientists for 20 points. What Austrian monk who experimented with pea plants showed how genes... Hilltop, Brianna.
Mendel.
Correct. Hilltop ties it in control.
Okay. Famous scientists for 15.
Famous scientist for 15 points. What English physicist developed 3 basic laws of Danbury? John.
Newton.
Newton is correct. Danbury takes the lead and control.
Geography for 10.
Geography for 10. Identify each of the following places that begins with the letter N. U.S. state whose capital is Santa Fe. Danbury, John.
New Mexico.
Correct. Danbury, still in control.
Geography for 15.
Geography for 15 points. Waterfall between Canada and the Hilltop, Joe.
Niagara Falls.
Correct. Hilltop takes back control.
We'll go for famous scientists for 25.
Famous scientists for 25. What English doctor and scientist discovered the smallpox vaccination? Hilltop, Brianna.
Pasteur.
Incorrect. Danbury, would you like to steal? They say no. We needed Edward Jenner for that one. Hilltop, you are still in control.
Geography for 20.
Geography for 20 points. Largest Central American country. Capital is, that would be Hilltop. Joe.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, yes. Hilltop, still in control.
Geography for 25.
Geography now for 25 points. Country that is home to the Maori, capital, Danbury. John.
New Zealand.
New Zealand is correct. Danbury takes back control.
Geography for 30.
Geography for 30, finishing off this category. Country located furthest west on the Scandinavian peninsula. Hilltop, Joe.
Netherlands.
Incorrect. Danbury, would you like to steal? That would be Nate.
Norway.
Norway is what we needed there. Danbury in control.
Aviation history for 10.
Aviation history for 10 points. Identify each of the following people, places, aircraft, dates, or ideas associated with the history of aviation. Element whose discovery in the 18th century powered the first flights taken by humans in hot air balloons. Danbury, Nate.
Helium.
Incorrect. Hilltop, would you like to steal? That would be Joe.
Hydrogen.
Correct. Hilltop takes control.
Presidential potpourri for 10.
Presidential potpourri for 10 points. Based on the given description, identify each of the following U.S. presidents. If necessary, use both the first and last names. Immediately followed President Abraham Lincoln. Hilltop, Joe.
Andrew Johnson.
Correct. Hilltop in control.
Presidential for 20.
Presidential potpourri for 20 points. In office in 1986 when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. That will be Hilltop. Brianna.
Reagan.
Reagan is correct. Hilltop in control.
Presidential for 25.
Presidential potpourri for 25. In office when the Vietnam War officially, that would be Danbury. Ryan.
Richard Nixon.
Incorrect. Ended in 1975. Hilltop, would you like to steal?
No.
They say no. Gerald Ford is what we needed there. Hilltop in control.
Presidential for 30.
Presidential potpourri for 30 points. In office when Prohibition was begun with the 18th Amendment and the Volstead Act. Woodrow Wilson, Hilltop in control.
Presidential for 15.
Finishing off this category, in office when Neil Armstrong first walked on the moon. That was Richard Nixon. Hilltop in control.
Begins with FI for 10.
Begins with FI for 10 points. Identify each of the following words that begins with the letters FI. I will identify the part of speech. We're looking for a noun, a piece of writing about imaginary people. Danbury, Nate.
Fiction.
Fiction is correct. Danbury takes control.
Begins with FI for 15.
Begins with FI for 15 points. It's a noun, long, thin, outer bone of the human leg. Hilltop, Lily.
Femur.
Incorrect. Danbury, would you like to steal? That would be Nate.
Fibia.
No, we need fibula. Fibula. Danbury, in control.
Begins with FI for 20.
Begins with FI for 20 points. We're looking for an adjective, violent, raging, or very strong. Hilltop, Joe.
Fierce.
Fierce is what we needed there. Yes, Hilltop, in control.
We'll go with famous scientists for 20.
Famous scientist for 20 points. What Russian chemist formulated periodic law and established an early version of the periodic table of elements? Danbury, Ryan.
Mendeleev.
Mendeleev, yes. Danbury in control.
Begins with FI for 25.
Begins with FI for 25 points. We're looking for a noun. Very slender thread, fiber, or wire. Hilltop, Joe.
Fiber.
Incorrect. Danbury, would you like to steal?
No.
No.
They say no. We were looking for a filament there. Filament. Danbury in control.
Begins with FI for 30.
Begins with FI for 30 points. We're looking for a noun. Another name for hazelnut. Filbert. Filbert. Danbury in control.
Aviation history for 15.
Aviation history for 15 points. German who shot down 80 planes in air-to-air combat. That will be Danbury. Ryan.
Red Baron.
We cannot accept that. In World War I, nicknamed the Red Baron. Would you like to steal?
No.
They say no. Manfred von Richthofen is what we needed there. Danbury in control. Oh, that is the end of the round. Let's take a look at our score. A very close competition. We have Hilltop at 100 points. Currently in the lead with 145 points is Danbury. Coming up next is our brainstorm round where questions are worth 20 points apiece. Still anybody's game. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU's Brain Game. Hilltop 100 points, Danbury 145 points. Hilltop, looks like someone has returned. Who's back?
This is Jamie.
All right, well, welcome back to Jamie. Danbury, staying with your lineup from the last round. All right, well, we're moving on to our brainstorm round. This is it. All questions in this round are worth 20 points, but beware. Negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. Teams, you may confer before buzzing in, not after, but no stealing. No stealing in this round. We will move immediately to the next question. 3 minutes of brainstorm. Hilltop, Danbury, are you ready? Starts right now. Begins with the letter B. This verb means to leave something to someone else. Hilltop, Brianna.
Bequeath?
Correct. What European country is home to The Hague? Danbury, John.
The Netherlands.
Correct. Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. That will be Hilltop, Brianna.
Shakespeare?
Correct. I look around, turn the radio down. He says, baby, is something wrong? Who sang these popular lyrics? Taylor Swift. What one prefix can be added to the words circle, colon, and retired to create Danbury? Nate.
Semi.
Correct. In miles per hour, what is the speed of sound at sea level? (761). In The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Huck tells his brutal drunken father. What does he call his father? Pap. In how many of Shakespeare's plays does the character Falstaff appear? 3. In the Broadway play Guys and Dolls, which character hopes that luck be a lady? Sky Masterson. The name is the same, a freshwater polyp and a mythological creature slain by Hercules. Name it. Did it get in time? No. Hydra is what we needed there. What do we call the officer that presides over the U.S. House of Representatives? Hilltop, Brianna.
Speaker of the House.
Correct. It wasn't really misspelled. What word inscribed in the Liberty Bell is spelled differently than we spell it today? Did it get in time? Yes. Hilltop, Brianna.
Freedom?
Incorrect. Pennsylvania. This chemical element is used as a disinfectant and it is added to table salt. Hilltop, Joe.
Iodine.
Iodine is correct. The Near Shoemaker spacecraft spent a year orbiting it and then shut down after landing in 2001 on what asteroid? Eros is what we needed there. The Parthenon, the ruins of Delphi, and the Acropolis. In what country would you find these? Danbury, John.
Greece.
Greece is correct. What is the term for the lowest rate of hourly pay permitted? End of round. Let's take a look at our score. We have Hilltop with 160 points and our winner with 205 points, Danbury. Let's give both these teams a big round of applause. Now, in the spirit of good sportsmanship, let's meet in the middle, shake hands, and we'll see you at the next BGSU Brain Game.